And thank you, everyone, for being here, for being together. I had the great privilege and opportunity to go around the country in the last few months and meet with JNF supporters and staff members all across the country. And it's been an incredible experience because I think if there is one thing that we can all take from October 7th is that importance of being beyachad, being together in those trying times for the Jewish state and for the Jewish people. I want to say a big thank you to Jordan for his service and for standing guard for Am Yisrael in Israel and across the world. Our hearts go out to him and to all of our brave and hero IDF soldiers that I tell you now clearly, don't get bogged in or confused by the politics of it. Just look at the Israel Defense Forces and the bravery of our reservists and our soldiers, and you will find all the pride, courage, and inspiration that you seek in them. I want to just share a few thoughts with you about October 7th and beyond and where we are now. Joshua Luito Molel, he was a 21-year-old student from Tanzania. He came to Kibbutz Nachal Oz in September of 2023 to work in the cowshed and get some expertise and education so that he could take it back to Tanzania in this knowledge sharing of Israel. Joshua was captured by the vile, savage Hamas monsters who invaded Israel that morning. There was a video of his execution that was circulated, and not only did they cruelly kill him, but they also snatched his body into Gaza. And I think that in looking into that incident, and sadly so many more, we understand the foundation of what it is that we're looking at, which is the ultimate battle between good and evil. And why am I saying this? Because it takes us back to the core. We know that on the morning of that Red Dawn, everything changed. Everything changed for Israel. Everything changed for the Jewish people and communities abroad. And everything changed in the way we look at and interact with this reality. A Tanzanian exchange student is the foundation of Zionism in the sense of what has been created by our late Prime Minister and then Foreign Minister, Golda Meir. Not two people know, that history of the state of Israel, which is even all the more important to share it and understand because it's a perfect manifestation of what is the Zionist spirit. Back in the 50s, when Israel was still rushing to gain arms and defend its very existence at the age of 4, comes Golda Meir as foreign minister and a visionary and decides to reach out to what she termed as the newly decolonizing nations of Africa, to build relations between one nascent nation to others facing similar challenges. Imagine, it's the same kind of outreach that you would gain today a prize for women empowerment and to be on the cover of leading magazines. And this is done at a time when nobody looked, and she wasn't doing it to gain an award or be, in the spectacle of social media hero. She did it because that is the sense of Zionism. She did it to build those relations between the state of Israel and the world, to share Israel's light unto this earth. And as a young diplomat at the time in Nairobi, I got the first-hand experience in interacting with that reality. In coming from Israel and living in the geopolitics of the conflict, I was faced with immense love and support for the state of Israel, with an immense sense of gratitude and appreciation for the ruach, for the spirit of the state of Israel and the Israeli people. And the battle that we're waging now is an opportunity to remember just that. Joshua's arrival in Israel and the innocent desire of Israelis to share goodness with the world has been manifest in every position I held in the foreign ministry. I remember that I traveled on one occasion to Zambia and met with an Israeli expert, a professor, an elderly professor who came during semester break to share that knowledge. And you can imagine that under the Israeli government, he was not paid billions of dollars to be there. And I asked him, I said, Professor, I'm so happy that you're here. May I ask you what propels you to do this? And his answer still resonates in my heart and on my mind to this very day when he said, Shahar, it's my Zionism. This is my pioneering for Israel. This is who we are. And I want you to take a moment to take a step back from the day-to-day realities of what we're seeing and to understand the general picture, because what we have awoken to post-October 7th is a different kind of battle. not just a battle between good and evil, but in many ways, ironically, at the time when the masks are on in so many places that chant against Israel and the Jewish people, this is an age of mask off. This is an age where, and I've been in the battlefield of Hasbara for too many years. I have been present in the dark world for too many years. And we've heard the accusations against Israel, the apartheid, the occupation, Jerusalem and the settlements. And yet, as of October 7th, since the smell of fresh Jewish blood has reached the nostrils of haters in the Middle East and across the world, it unleashed that hatred in a naked way, where people chant on the street for the eradication of Israel and the Jews, for the destruction of the state of Israel. So in a way, reality has become so much clearer in so many ways. No longer are we hiding behind the politics of the conflict, but rather with the core issues that we all face. The same core that our people faced on that horrible day of massacre. The same understanding that beyond the politics and beyond our Israeli passport and ID, we are all Jews. Amit Buskila of blessed memory, a young gorgeous girl who attended the Nova Music Festival. Her body was recovered by the brave IDF warriors a few weeks ago. Her uncle spoke on Israeli radio. We all heard in Israel at the time the first part of their conversation when she was being shot at and kidnapped, or supposedly kidnapped, by the savages. But after her body was returned, her uncle revealed that there was a second part to this conversation. And the second part that wasn't made public. And in that second part, she called him and she said, you know, I just want to say thank you to you and my family for the love that you have given me. And thank you to the Almighty for giving me that precious time on earth. And her last words were, Shema Israel, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, before the sound of 4 shots was sounded and silence came from the other side. Did you not know, he was asked, that she died at that moment? I might have, Shimon, her uncle, said. But to me, being Jewish is being hopeful. And we were always hoping that maybe there was some way in which she may have survived this. But in a way, for all of us as Jews, we understand now what this is all about. You know, I was flying from one occasion to the other around Pesach and telling somebody on the plane, Chag Sameach, happy Passover. And a young girl turns to me who sat in front of me and said, oh, you're Jewish. I said, yes, I am. And she didn't need to say more. Chag Sameach. We knew exactly where we stood, because like I began is how we continue. We are together. And what does that mean for us all? What is the lesson that we must all take from this? That no longer should we allow our enemies to write our story. No longer should we allow Zionism to be used as a slur. We should wear Zionism on our sleeve. We should chant proudly, what's your pronoun? I am a Zionist. This is what I stand for. This is my reality. And the Jewish state I support wholeheartedly. It also means that we have transitioned from the age of words to the age of deeds. My friends, it's time to take action. Action like I've seen JNF taking all across the board, from the short-term missions to Israel to be able to engage with Israelis in this most historical time, to the missions to Israel, where students and faculty on the Caravan for Democracy are able to see Israel firsthand, to advocacy. Speak up. Use your voices. No longer could we afford to keep quiet. We have kept quiet for too long. And by speaking up, I mean not just calling out the bad guys, but also saying thank you to those who stand by Israel. People like Richie Torres and others. Don't neglect the gratitude. It's part and parcel, of who we are as Zionists, of who we are as a pro-Israel community. And when we engage with that reality, always think of building allyships. And when I say building allyships, I don't mean the old politically correct style where we would reach out to other communities, but come October 7th, they turn their backs on us. I mean allyships like the one I met with a man by the name of Kareem Wells in Chicago. Kareem is an African-American DJ. And I first encountered Kareem when I was looking on Instagram and saw a video of his at the encampment at DePaul University. And he was standing there and dancing with the flag of Israel with the Jewish students. It intrigued me. I was happy to see him, but I wondered what attracted him to there. So I reached out to him on Instagram. And he told me it's the fight of good versus evil. If you care about our children, this is where we should be. I was touched by what he did. And looking into his actions, I saw that he was also working on the south side of Chicago to support Black and brown youth, take them away from Say No to Violence campaign. So just like he was there for us, I took the time to go and be with him on June 8th and march with his people against violence in Chicago. Because we must be there for each other long term, not just in times of crisis, to build allyships of the light against the dark forces that threaten our values and our world. So this is my request of all of you today, to take that spirit of Zionism with you, to reclaim it and celebrate it, to make your voices heard, and to make sure that we are part of this battle and provide the diplomatic Iron Dome for our IDF soldiers and the state of Israel to continue fighting the good fight. Because at the end of the day, it's not about politics. It's about who we are. And I want to thank you and JNF for the great work that you've done all across for the state of Israel and for the Jewish community, because the only way we will get through this, and we will get through this, is beyachad, together. Thank you very much.